Bloomberg obtained a copy of this open letter. What exactly did it say?
Yeah, so this is a small select group of employees who called on SpaceX's management, including Gwynne Shotwell, the COO and president, to basically publicly distance itself from Musk, what he says, what he believes, what he was doing, because they felt that it was, quote, an embarrassment, and that it was basically impacting the work that SpaceX was trying to do. This was the view of a small number of employees. It was shared as sort of something you could sign via a QR code through internal messaging channels, and it picked up some momentum. You know, they did get signatures until management acted.
What exactly did management then say?
Right. So in a second internal memo, which was sent by Gwynne Shotwell, the company's COO, which Bloomberg has seen, they basically said this wasn't helpful. You know, they conducted an investigation into the origins of this open letter from staff, and as you said, and I think we have the quote from Gwynne Shotwell about sort of the broader impact of it, they ended up firing, what they said, a number of employees. We don't have a firm number on how many it is, but this is what's interesting. She calls this overreaching activism. You know, so clearly there's a group of employees within the business who have a strong opinion on this. What she says elsewhere in the memo that's frankly too long for us to share on the screen is that this select group of employees were putting pressure on their peers to sign something that they didn't believe in. These are, I'm paraphrasing Gwynne Shotwell's words.
Did a bunch of employees sign it?
And we've seen a range of numbers up there from several hundred to several thousand. SpaceX has 12,000 employees around the world, essentially. So it gained traction. But ultimately, you know, what Gwynne Shotwell goes on to say in that memo is that this is a distraction from their end goal, and their end goal, as we know, is getting to Mars.
Well, this isn't the first story in the last few weeks about Elon Musk's behavior at SpaceX. There was another story about accusing him of sexual harassment.
Right.
And Gwynne Shotwell also defended him in that instance as well.
Correct.
Right?
So last month, Business Insider reported that the company, SpaceX, settled with a former contract employee in 2018 for $250,000. And that employee in question was a contract air steward aboard a SpaceX jet that Musk would use to travel. And straight away, we should point out, Musk not only denies the claims made, but he actually goes on to say in a series of tweets earlier in the month or last month that he basically saw this as a political attack on him, that it was sort of a calculated initiative to impact his reputation, you know, and he questioned the source, who was the original source of the Business Insider story. So regardless, we don't get to the bottom of it. I should point out, SpaceX does have a comms team, a PR team. I message them regularly. They are real people, but they have not responded to multiple requests for comment on this story, on the open letter story. So, you know, what we have to go on is these internal messages that Bloomberg has seen. Interesting.
There has been some other news for SpaceX today.
Yeah.
They did have another successful launch.
I mean, this is what it all comes back down to. So today was kind of another bog standard Starlink launch, another 53 Starlink satellites deployed to orbit, but it was also a milestone for reusability. It was the 100th launch using a flight-proven rocket or booster. In other words, this is the 100th time that SpaceX has sent up a rocket that has previously flown and landed it successfully. And it's just changed the game, right? This is the whole point of the SpaceX story, that this reusability angle allows them to go with such regularity that it becomes routine, but also that it makes access to space much more affordable for little satellite providers and themselves building out the Starlink network.